Morning Show. Good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show for Wednesday, September 10th. I'm Ken Lundberg. This is the video live stream edition of this, and we will be talking this hour with Lori Marciniak, who is here from the Curious Kids Museum. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in and joining us today.
Of course.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Let's hit just a quick summary. The gala that's coming up later this month. What is it? When is it? Where is it? What do people need to know?
September 19th, 5:30 till about 11. We're going to do it in our new space, what we're calling Curious Kids Museum on Main Street, which is the Old Heritage Museum and Cultural Center. We are going to do it one time there before it's all filled up with exhibits and is all reconfigured and construction starts. Just so that we can get people and our supporters in the space and show them what our vision is. What are we going to do to that space?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So
the vision zone, you're welcoming them to the vision zone.
Yes. And we're going to, tell them what exhibits we're going to put where, what architectural changes we're going to do to the building, the timeline.
Yeah.
Why do we need 3 museums? All those things.
That is exciting. That's really exciting. So people who can attend the gala?
Anybody can attend the gala. The gala is going to be a lot different this year. Normally it's a pretty formal event, a sit down dinner.
Okay.
Silent auctions, live auctions, raffles, all kinds of things, and then a band and dancing.
Yeah.
And we've kind of made it a lot more casual this year. It's going to be heavy hors d'oeuvres, appetizers, grazing table, that kind of thing. Still going to have a bar and some fun and some dancing afterwards to a DJ. But really just kind of a bunch of time to explore and then come together in the current ballroom, and I'll tell them some things going on. And then we're going to play. We're going to dance. So
that is
explore,
really
learn, and play.
Explore, learn, and play. Smart.
That's our tagline: explore, play, and learn. We just have to switch it a little. So yeah.
No, that's really exciting. So that is coming up on September 19th. Cost per ticket?
$75.
$75 per ticket. Where does the money go?
To the museum, of course. This is usually our biggest fundraiser of the year. We've, like I said, scaled it back. Normally tickets are about $150 a person. So we want to make it a little more accessible to a lot more people so they can come and see what we're doing.
But they'll have to pump dumbbells beforehand because of the heavy hors d'oeuvres.
Exactly. They're heavy.
Shrimp and cheese bites. Okay.
Oh, dear.
So anyway, so for more information on that, where can they go to get tickets?
There's an event on Facebook, on our Facebook page. You can go to our website. There's also a link there.
Okay. So go to the website or go to their social media page on Facebook, the Curious Kids Museum. It's the gala. It's coming up on September 19th. That's a Friday from next Friday, a week from this Friday.
Right.
And it'll be 5:30 to 10:30 p.m. You're tearing it up at 601 Main Street in St. Joseph, the future Curious Kids Museum on Main Street. That's exciting. Okay, so this hour we're going to talk all about that, what we can expect. It's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Local news coming up in just a moment.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning and welcome to your Wednesday, September 10th, 7:05 a.m. I'm Ken Lundberg. Thank you for joining us. In Benton Harbor right now, we have 56 degrees under some cloudy skies, 58 in St. Joseph with mostly cloudy. South Haven, it's 56 and cloudy, and we do expect some clouds to be hanging around today. A partly cloudy sky is in the forecast. A high today in the warmest spots of southwest Michigan, around 80 degrees. Closer to the lakeshore, let's see, St. Joseph, we're looking at 74 degrees for a high, 76 in Benton Harbor. South Haven, 74 degrees. In New Buffalo, 76 degrees. Out in Buchanan and Dowagiac and Niles, probably going to get up to a high of 78 degrees. The forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, low of 55 overnight, north winds 5 miles per hour. Then Thursday, mostly sunny day again. Same for Friday. We're going to get highs probably in the lower to mid 80s. And the low overnight probably in the mid 50s again. Saturday and Sunday, that's when the forecast changes just a little bit. We're still going to keep the hot temperatures or the warm temperatures, but we're going to have a chance of rain as well. 30% chance of showers both Saturday and Sunday, and partly sunny skies otherwise. Again, the highs probably in the mid 80s and the lows going around 60 degrees. Monday and Tuesday of next week, we'll keep the partly cloudy skies with a chance of rain showers, a high around 83. Tigers beat the stuffing out of the Yankees yesterday, 12-2. That is a great outcome. The Tigers play the New York Yankees again today at 7:05 p.m., and you can hear that game right here on your official Detroit Tigers baseball station, WSJM. Chicago defeated the Atlanta Braves 6-1. Chicago playing the Atlanta Braves again at 7:15 tonight, and the White Sox, they lost to the Tampa Bay Rays 5-4 yesterday, and so they'll play the Rays again today at Guaranteed Rate Field at 7:40 p.m. Some of the news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom, and then we'll talk to our special guest who's in studio, Lori Marciniak from the Curious Kids Museum, talk all about their future plans and the gala that they have coming up next week. But first off in the news, Lincoln Township is moving forward with an effort to restrict e-bikes and other motorized recreational vehicles in its parks and on its trails. We told you about this a few weeks ago, that there were some concerns about safety and pedestrians and regular pedal-powered bikes versus the e-bikes. Well, Township Manager Ralph Banson said signs will now be posted on the parks and trails for Lincoln Township instead of adopting a formal ordinance.
We were having some safety concerns and some concerns about how fast they were traveling on the non-motorized trails and in our parks. So we had a lot of residents that they were concerned about their family's safety due to the speed of the e-bikes and how they're being operated.
Banson said other townships have had success with posted rules, but questions remain about how to address these vehicles on sidewalks. So Banson said the issue will be reviewed further at a later meeting. Benton Harbor's new schools superintendent Simone Griffin is inviting families to connect during a special event that's happening tonight. Griffin says it's a chat and chew event, giving parents and guardians a chance to share ideas, ask questions about the school, and hear updates.
This is the time where you get my undivided attention to tell me about the great things, hopefully, that are already happening in our schools and community, but also so I can hear what concerns and questions you may have about what's happening within the school district.
This evening's session runs from 5:30 to 6:30 at the Benton Harbor High School. Additional sessions are planned for September 24th and September 30th. Construction is underway on new water towers in Benton Township. The township received $20 million from the state last year for 2 towers, one on Zoshki Road and another on Euclid Road. Supervisor Kathy Yates says the Euclid Tower base is now complete.
Growing demand in the township in the suburb areas because we supply water to more than Benton Charter. We do sodas and some other areas.
The Euclid Tower will hold 1 million gallons of water, while the Zoshki Tower will hold half that amount. Yates says the project is fully funded by the state's Drinking Water Revolving Fund.
We felt that tower was holding too much, and we want to keep the water fresh and moving, so we're going to make them a little bit smaller, but we still have more than enough to supply our needs here in the township.
And finally, in Benton Harbor, they're going to host their next Pecha Kucha event this Friday. It's coming up at the Livery. The event features rapid-fire presentations, also known as Pecha Kuchas, 20 slides, 20 seconds each, lasting just over 6 minutes for a presentation. The Krasl Art Center is behind the move, and the Krasl Art Center's Jamie Balkin says it draws strong interest.
They're very popular. We average between 150 to 250 attendees each time we do them. This is volume 34 for us, and Pecha Kucha Benton Harbor St. Joe is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year.
Balkin says the format does appeal to a wide audience.
There are so many amazing presentations. You just never know the person's story till they get up and share it. And what's really neat about Pecha Kucha is you have all walks of life, all age groups.
Friday's program begins at 8:30 p.m. Tickets are $5 each, with proceeds supporting future events with the Krasl Art Center. That's a look at some of the local news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom. We have more to talk about this hour. In fact, we're talking with our guest from the Curious Kids Museum. Lori Marciniak is here. Good morning, Lori. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You got a lot of fun stuff happening at Curious Kids Museum.
So fun.
You want to give us a quick summary before we go into sports?
Well, we bought a new building.
Yeah.
We're working with architects. We're working with exhibit designers. We're working with construction companies. We're getting quotes. We're trying to launch a capital campaign, and we're going to get down to business here real soon.
Oh man, that is a lot of stuff. So let's start with the new building. So you have the former Heritage Museum.
Yes.
It's where is it? It's on Main Street.
601 Main Street.
601 Main Street, and you're inviting people for a special event, the gala next week. Let's give people a quick summary on that.
September 19th, 5:30 to 10:30. We're going to, it's a lot more casual event than we normally do. We're not going to do auctions and things. We just want people to come and see what we have planned. We're going to let them walk around for a couple hours where we'll have information in every single room of the architectural changes and the exhibits planned for that area. And then we'll get everybody together in the ballroom. I'll do a little presentation. And then we'll dance and have a good time.
Are you going to do experiments and stuff like that?
No.
Have dry ice fog all over the... Come on, that'd be so cool.
That would be cool.
It's a museum. Let's do science experiments. No, I just what we just talked about on the video live stream a moment ago is it really is going to be an opportunity for you to lay out the vision, a vision zone, an imagination zone of here's what the building is today, and here's what we have planned.
Correct, because 4-year-olds in a ballroom sometimes don't mix.
Yeah.
So we got to change that up. We got to fun it up a little.
Let's fun it up. I love that. We're going to be talking about that this hour, what vision you have for that, but at the museum. But for the gala itself, if you want to go out and have a good time next Friday, September 19th, 5:30 p.m. is when it starts, and you won't close it down till 10:30 at 601 Main Street. People can get tickets by going online, right?
Yes, our website or our Facebook page. There's an event there, or there's a link on our website.
Okay, very good. And so Curious Kids Museum on Main Street, tickets are $75 a piece, and that money, the proceeds from that, go back into the museum.
Absolutely.
To help build the future for our kids.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk more with Lori Marciniak. We'll start that conversation on the video live stream. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes. But first, let's get sports from Dave Wolf, a couple of messages, our weather forecast, and then we'll be back with the interview on the radio. All right, starting the interview right here on the video live stream. Lori, it's always fun to have you in because, I mean, you do so many fun things with the Curious Kids Museum.
It's a dream job to be able to be a part of. It's so fun.
How long have you been, for those who don't know, let's roll through your history briefly. How long have you been with the Curious Kids Museum?
13 years.
Okay, 13 years now.
Mhm.
When is your anniversary? What month?
August 27th.
Okay, so wow, that's a long time. And before that, you were building like rockets or something like that. What were you doing?
I was an electrical engineer.
Okay.
I worked at Zenith Data Systems for 27 years.
Okay.
And Heathkit. So we did curriculum for vocational schools when they used to call it VOTEC. Now it's career and technical education. But yeah, so lots of, I was an electrical engineer, lots of programming and circuit design back when there were truly circuits. Not just one chip that did everything, but yeah. So.
Is it amazing to you how far technology has come? And
I feel so dumb, you just can't keep up with it. So I was, we were putting in some new computers because Windows is stopping support October 24th for Windows 10.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we needed new computers at the museum. So Monday I spent with a very young IT guy, and he was so smart. And I was just like, oh my gosh, all the things I don't know.
Doesn't it feel great? Do you delve into AI at all?
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
Okay. It's fascinating.
Oh, it's amazing.
And how fast it's moving.
And so helpful in some ways. I mean, I think you can't take the human completely out of it, but
yeah.
Go ahead. I need to write something. It sure is nice to get that view,
and you raise a really good point on that because it does the mundane tasks, stuff that you already know how to do. You can ask it for the prompt to do that kind of stuff, and it does it. But if you don't have that foundation, that's the missing part that I'm worried about for the next generation.
Correct.
Yeah. But do you build any of that technology kind of experience into your exhibits at the Curious Kids Museum?
We do not.
Okay.
We feel like kids are getting a lot of that.
Yeah.
They get a lot of screens. They get a lot of that kind of thing. And they don't get a lot of, here's a bunch of parts. What could you do with it?
Yeah.
We also want to encourage experimentation. So we don't mind if they fail.
Yeah.
If something doesn't work, we build failure, the possibility of failure into some of the exhibits so that kids can see, oh, that didn't work.
Yeah.
What should I do? And sometimes you need that problem solving opportunity as a kid with no judgment, no grade attached to it, none of that.
I love that. Okay. We're going to be talking with Lori Marciniak this hour about the Curious Kids Museum. We'll start that interview for the rest of the radio program here in just a moment. But again, they have the gala coming up, the Curious Kids Museum on Main Street. Sneak Peek is what it's called, and it's happening Friday, September 19th, 5:30 to 10:30 p.m. It's happening at the new location. What's it look like inside there right now?
It's completely empty.
Okay.
it's a little rough because, we pulled things off the walls and I don't really want to fix them because we're going to knock some of them down anyway.
Right.
So the building, it's beautiful.
Has character.
It's beautiful. And it's always been beautiful. It's 84 years newer than the building we're in. So we are so appreciative of that. But we did, there were some things taken off the walls that did leave a little mark.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just a big wide open space right now, which is amazing to try to imagine what it's going to be.
That is so cool. You already working with vendors to talk about what's possible?
Yes, we have architectural drawings almost complete. Our exhibit design company is in tomorrow for some design on new exhibits. We have a estimate from the contractor for the construction costs, and
wow.
So we're getting there.
Okay. All right. We'll continue this conversation in just a moment, right after the weather forecast here on WSJM.
Partly cloudy skies today. Temperatures getting up a little bit warmer. We're going to top out right around 80 again inland, but near the lakeshore we'll be in the upper 70s. 55 for the overnight low tonight with partly cloudy skies. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. We're aiming for high temperatures in the low to mid 80s through the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:17, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday, September 10th. Looking at the temperature outside, still 56 degrees in Benton Harbor, 58 under cloudy skies in St. Joseph. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Lori Marciniak, Executive Director of the Curious Kids Museum and Chief Imagineer.
Yes.
Can we give you that title?
I would love that.
Okay. All right. So Curious Kids Museum, for those who might not, maybe they're just new to the area, maybe they're just visiting. What is the Curious Kids Museum in St. Joseph?
It is a hands-on museum for children. It is built for child-directed play. A lot of the things,
Child-directed play.
Child-directed
What is that?
play. That means the kids can touch everything. They can look at everything. No one's going to say no unless they're running or being terribly unsafe.
Sure.
But a lot of things that children do these days are, go to soccer practice, and all of this is good stuff.
Right.
Sit down in school for 7 hours and listen and learn. And but a lot of times they don't get to direct their own day or their own time. And
Right.
so this is really child-directed play. They get to touch everything. They get to play. They get to explore. No real rules on how you play. Certainly every exhibit is designed with a purpose and an intent. But we don't really like to share that. We want kids to figure it out and to, not that we wouldn't help them if they were confused, but, really you can play with it however you want. You imagine it. And sometimes kids play with things and we as adults never thought that would happen with that exhibit. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I love the hands-on nature of it and the opportunity to safe explore, right? Because the exhibits are colorful and they're interactive and the kids can walk up to them and do whatever they want, like you said. And you also have a fail fast built into it. Maybe talk about that.
So we like to encourage exploration and creativity. And if it doesn't work, it's okay.
Yeah.
What can you change to make it work? We just put in a new on-the-go exhibit, which is all about transportation, and we have a sailboat racer. So you build your sailboats, and some are like Viking ships, and there's different sails and different bases, and then there's a literal leaf blower underneath, and those things go flying.
That's great.
But if you position the sails wrong, they get caught on each other.
Sure.
Because there's 3 tracks, one's squiggly, one's a zigzag, and one's straight. And so they can figure out which track goes quicker, which sail goes quicker, but the sail can go in about 100 different ways. There's little notches.
Yeah.
So if you point it straight, it's not going to catch any air. So now they have to figure out, but if they put them all perpendicular or to each other,
right,
they get caught and they don't go. So when we were designing it with the exhibit designer, they said, these are close enough and the sails are big enough that you can actually fail. You can make the sails touch each other and they won't go. And I said, perfect.
Yeah.
Because I want kids to figure that out.
Yeah.
Not everything works first time, and everything isn't just throw away and get one that works. How can we make this one work? We built in all of the capabilities that you can figure this out. So try a different sail, try a different position, try a different boat base, all the things. So
I love that, especially given the water and the sailboat theme, because you look out on Lake Michigan and you see the sails, and there may be kids, adults included, who don't know how that works.
Exactly.
So you can start learning early. You're building an Armageddon. I love it.
Yes.
Okay. So Armada. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. So the Curious Kids Museum, what locations do you have currently?
So we have
operating locations, I should say.
Yes. So the operating locations, we have 2 locations. One in the Silver Beach Center, it's currently called the Curious Kids Discovery Zone.
Yeah.
And then the Curious Kids Museum up on the bluff.
Okay.
We're in the process of kind of a rebranding now that we're going to have 3 locations. So they're all going to be Curious Kids Museums. 15 years later, we've had the Discovery Zone for 15 years. And some people just call it the Discovery Zone, and they don't really put the connection that it's a Curious Kids Museum.
Okay.
That you can buy a joint pass, that you can, which location do you need to be at. So we're kind of rebranding for the Curious Kids Museum at the Silver Beach Center, the Curious Kids Museum on Lake Boulevard, and the Curious Kids Museum on Main Street, our new location.
Okay. And so the new location is in the former Heritage Museum, and now it's what state is it in currently?
It's currently a empty building.
Okay.
That we purchased. We closed in April. The Heritage Museum moved all the stuff out. So it is just a big open empty building, not really being utilized right now, as we're having contractors come in, architects, construction companies, exhibit designers, to get our vision and reimagine everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably chock full of imagination right now. Of what you're going to put in there.
Yes, it's funny because the number of times we've said we've got one shot at this.
Yeah.
Our current location, our kind of flagship location, the Curious Kids Museum on the Bluff, was an old memorial hall.
Yep.
And we love that building and we love that location. But it wasn't built to be a children's museum. And while some of that makes it quaint and kind of cool, the flow, the line of sight to your child, a lot of things aren't perfect. The number of bathrooms on every floor, when you're potty training a little one, they usually tell you they have to go 5 minutes after they had to go,
Yeah.
So having to traverse floors to get them to the bathroom is tough. So, if we had to do that over, we would redesign the flow of that building as well, and the placement of bathrooms and quiet areas for mothers to nurse, and all the things that a children's museum comes with.
Yeah.
And so now we have this building that we can do that to. Now we're not going to change every wall. We're not going to blow out any walls and add on to it. But how do we get exhibits in?
Yeah.
We don't do that often, but when we do, they're big and they're heavy and they don't go through a normal door. And then how do you get them upstairs? You can't put them in a normal elevator and, all the things. So the Heritage Museum building is 3 floors. We're going to need to get exhibits in the basement. We're going to need to get exhibits on the new mezzanine that we're going to build over the ballroom. So, we need a garage door in the back. We need a larger elevator, freight elevator type thing. We need bathrooms on every floor. There's just, if we want a water table, we currently have a water table in the Curious Kids Museum and the Curious Kids Discovery Zone. The Discovery Zone we built to be a museum. So we have all the plumbing and everything we need, drains in the floor. In the Curious Kids Museum, we don't really have all of that. So we can design areas where we're going to put water, areas where we're going to put exhibits. We can pick the flooring so that there's not carpet. Kids have a lot of bodily fluids that come out.
That's a nice way of putting it.
and we clean those up a lot.
Yeah.
And so, having surfaces that are easy
to clean. I love that.
Surfaces that are by nature antimicrobial.
Right.
Because kids are little germ bombs as well.
Yeah, I always say that.
Yeah.
Get away from me, you little germ bomb.
Exactly.
No,
and we love the little germ bombs.
Yes, we do.
However, they touch everything. We want them to touch everything. So if we can go into this, designing the building to be a lot more child friendly, very safe. The flooring right now, when you walk in, again, the building is beautiful, but it's got slate tile in the entryway that is uneven. We've got strollers, we've got, kids with mobility aids. It's not grandparents with mobility aids. It's not as safe right now as we would want it to be. So making that more of like a rubber floor that, it's a soft landing. Kids have sea legs when they start, and they don't always successfully make it from one end of the floor room to the other. So we want a soft landing if that's going to happen, but we want them to be able to walk themselves and, explore. And so.
Yeah, that's exciting. And so part of that vision, without revealing too much, because you've got the gala that you're going to give a sneak peek of everything that's going to go in there. What did you go in thinking? Okay, this is how we're going to think about this whole design holistically.
Well, we certainly want the correct flow. There is a best practices for children's museums. If you walk in and there's a big long hallway, the first thing a kid's going to do is run.
Yeah.
And our only rule is walking
no running.
feet. No, we try to be positive. Everything has to be walking feet, imaginary food only. We don't want, people sloshing food all over and crumbs. And put things back when you're done with it.
Yeah.
So if you invite them with a big, long, open hallway, the first thing a kid's going to do is run. And I don't blame them. I mean, that's exciting.
Sure.
Some houses don't have that, and they want to run. So, we want to be able to design it so that, we put an exhibit in the way. So they have to stop and look. They have to stop and play. They have to stop and touch. So really the design of the museum to be very user-friendly, but also to invite exploration and curiosity. And just placing exhibits helps that. Making sure we do have bathrooms on every floor, making sure we have amenities for the guests that they ask for now. When kids get hangry,
yes,
I feel bad for the parents, but we don't want food everywhere in the museum. Right now, we have carpeting on all 3 floors. And we don't want ants and all the things
hot
that come
dog
with
stains and that kind of thing.
But having an area where they can have a snack is important. And so being able to look at everything our guests need and incorporate that into the new museum. And then all new exhibits. I mean, exhibit design for me is just like the most fun thing ever.
Let's talk about that. I mean, exhibit design, where do you even begin?
So, you have a lot of different stages of learners. When we say the museum is open 0 to 9, we truly mean 0. At 3 months old, a kid is what we call an onlooker. And they are learning from others. They're watching, they're seeing what people are touching, what people aren't touching. How does a kid learn that something's hot? Well, they have to touch it and it's hot. But normally they watch people as well to see, we don't touch the stove. We don't. So there's lots of different levels of onlooker and parallel play where 2 kids look like they're playing together, but they're not really, but they're kind of watching each other, at 1, 2 years old to see, but they're playing independently.
Yeah.
And then the whole sharing thing, and that's tough for things, but so there's lots of stages of this. And we want every exhibit area to have all of those opportunities for all the different stages of learners. And then also the types of learners. We have fine motor skills and gross motor skills and social emotional and social dramatic and, role playing and all the things that kids need to learn how to do, negotiation, the sharing thing. Again, we want 1, 2, or 3 of those type of things in every exhibit as well. But in the whole museum, we want to touch all of that because, I have 3 kids and they could not be more different. My first child was adopted. My second was biological, and they are more alike than the third biological kid is to any of them. So if you think, environment or biology, I've got a whole case study. But anyway, way different. So my youngest is very into social dramatic, role playing, singing, arts. The other 2 are very sciencey. So we want to have something for if I came when my children were small into this museum, I don't want all the sciencey stuff on one floor and all the social dramatic on another floor, because now I've got 3 kids. And at any given time, 1 or 2 of them are not happy,
right?
Because they don't have something to do that they love. So exhibit design, there's a lot to it so that we can have on every floor in every area, different age group appropriate play and different types of learning play.
I love that. That is amazing. Let's continue this conversation on the video live stream. We're talking with Lori Marciniak with the Curious Kids Museum, and they have if you want to know more about what's happening at the Curious Kids Museum, including at their new building, and get a sneak peek inside the building and hear the vision, they have a gala. It's going on Friday, September 19th, 5:30 to 10:30 p.m. It'll be at the new building for Curious Kids, which is at 601 Main Street. Just look for the big Tyrannosaurus Rex or the
Someday.
UFO. Yeah.
We
All right.
hope.
Yeah, all right. Well, anyway, it's at 601 Main Street. It's the former Heritage Museum. Now it's going to be the future it is the future Curious Kids Museum on Main Street location. If you want tickets, go to their social media page on Facebook or their website. Again, Curious Kids Museum. The gala is coming up on Friday, September 19, and tickets are available now. All right, we've got more on this interview coming up in just a moment. Right now, some messages and then our financial information from Bloomberg, our world and national news from ABC. It's all right here on the WSJM Morning Show. All right, more on designing the exhibits. Okay, so you've got the vision. Give something for everyone. Mix it up. Different kinds of learners, different kinds of kids, personalities, and that kind of thing. You've got the vision. Then where do you go? Is there a vendor network out there you can just tap into?
There is. It's really interesting. So I come from, kind of the computer design world.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole industry of children's museum, science center, zoos, aquariums, exhibit designers.
Is it based somewhere? Is there like a capital of that kind of stuff?
No, there's people in Ohio,
Pockets.
Minnesota, California.
Yeah.
I mean, those are where the big people are. We use an exhibit designer out of St. Paul, Minnesota. It's called Kidzibits. And great name, right?
Kidzibits.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and so they are literally a whole bunch of really smart grown-up kids who know what to do to play. And so there's a lot to it with, pinch points and rounded corners. And,
Oh, yeah.
kids are, like I said, little ones have sea legs, they fall, everything goes in their mouth. So the materials are important. The design is important. And, when you turn on your computer, computers have life cycles and mean time between failure and all of
Yeah.
that. Well, this exhibit needs to be touched 75,000 times a year. And it has to work every day because most people that we employ are not computer engineers.
Yeah.
And, they're very nice people. They keep things clean. We are very fun. We're very child oriented. We're very caring and compassionate. But if it's all computerized and computer based and it fails every day when you turn it on, or yesterday we had a big power outage in downtown
Yeah.
St. Joe, things coming back on, we don't want to have to mess with that. We don't want to have to worry about that. We want things to work every single day, every single time a kid touches it. They need to be repeatable and reliable.
Yeah. The durability factor alone. So things are built to be used 75,000 times a year.
Yeah. Well,
Is that what you?
we have 75,000 people come in the museum
Yeah.
a year. And this museum will be bigger, and
Yeah.
we sell out every day in the summer. So I'm assuming we'll get to
Wow.
90,000 a year.
You sell out every day in the summer?
Mhm.
That's fantastic.
We pre-sale tickets, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a bummer because we don't have enough space. We're really excited about the added space.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't have to do pre-sale tickets, and we can just take all the walk-ins. So, but yeah. So, think about designing something or having something that you've purchased wherever you've purchased it, and 100,000 people a year could touch it.
Yeah.
Like, it has to work every day, every hour of that day, and it has to be reliable. And so the material that you use is very important. If you have a painted surface, you know how many times a year we're going to have to touch up with that paint?
Wow.
A lot, right?
Yeah.
But if you use that, they call it HDPE, high density polyethylene.
Okay.
And so it's color fast all the way through. So as it wears,
Still the
this
same
red
color.
thing is still red.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of nice. It
Yeah.
can wear a little bit. We don't mind well-loved exhibits, and we want well-loved exhibits. We want exhibits that kids want to touch every single time they come in.
Yeah.
But we also want it to look nice and to last. They're very expensive exhibits, way more, I think, than people think they are.
Yeah.
And so we can't change them out every year. We can't change them out every 10 years. We want it to last 15 years or
Yeah.
so.
The safety, the quality, the durability.
Yes.
Can you give us an example of the cost of one of those, just so people have an idea?
So an exhibit for about, say, 900 square feet, it's about $450 a square foot. So we're talking $400,000
Wow.
per exhibit. So we're looking at over $3 million.
I can build you some stuff. Yeah.
That's what everybody says. and that's fine if you can come every day and help me out.
and let 100,000 people use it every day. Okay, we're talking with Lori Marciniak from Curious Kids Museum. We've got more on this interview coming up in just a couple of moments. And we've got some news as well, our latest world and national news from ABC, a preview of our local news. We'll have the weather forecast, sports, and a whole lot more. It's all coming up right here on WSJM.
Not seem too impressed. Apple shares finished lower yesterday. Stocks closed higher with new record highs right across the board on hopes the Fed will cut rates at next week's meeting. And U.S. stock futures have been mixed on this Wednesday morning. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:36 on your Wednesday morning, September 10th. Good morning to Bernice. Good morning to Diane. Good morning to everyone else on the video live stream right now joining us. If you're not on the video live stream right now, if you're missing the video live stream, you're missing a lot because we're continuing our conversation with Lori Marciniak from the Curious Kids Museum. They're hosting a sneak peek of what the future Curious Kids Museum on Main Street location is going to look like and feel like. And that gala is coming up next Friday, September 19th, 5:30 to 10:30 p.m. What do you want people to know about the gala?
We just want to show our supporters what's going on. We want them to get the first look at what's happening in the building with the exhibits. And it's always a lot of fun. You know, people were kind of known for a pretty good party when we throw a gala, lots of dancing and good food and things. And this one's going to be a lot more casual than it has been, but no less fun and informative, and should be a wonderful time.
Well, it's going to be a special time because people will be inside that space and right there with you as you give the vision for what it is it's going to look like. When do we expect completion? When are you going to open the doors for the new location?
January 2027.
That's the goal.
Yes. So, and it will probably be just the first and second floor.
Okay.
And then the basement exhibits will be done before summer of 27.
Ooh, basement exhibits.
Yeah. So that whole area in the Heritage was where they kept archives. So there's a whole big open area now where they had all their archives, all their really important things, you know, historical things. So being able to open that up and add that, but exhibit design, as we've been talking about, is very thoughtful, very purposeful, and it takes a while. Yeah. And so, and once it's done, an exhibit, well, they prototype and then they bring in a bunch of kids. And sometimes, honestly, we've had 2 cases that we had this big centerpiece for an exhibit that we were absolutely going to do. And they brought kids in and was like, oh, that is so unsafe. And that is not working out the way we thought.
We only lost a couple of kids on that one.
Exactly. Yeah, well, a couple teeth sometimes. So anyway, so, you know, it's a process. And then if that doesn't work out, then they come back and we have to redesign another big centerpiece for the exhibit. So it's a long process. And so exhibits will be the gating item to have all 3 floors open, but we'll open in January, 1st and 2nd floor, and then summer, the basement.
Okay. More on this, what's going to be happening at the Curious Kids Museum on Main Street location. And the gala, again, is coming up on Friday, September 19th, 5:30 to 10:30 p.m. Go to their website, Curious Kids Museum, or their social media page, Facebook, to get more information on that. Forecast for today. We'll continue our conversation with Lori here in just a moment. But forecast for today does call for partly cloudy skies, a high around 80. I don't see any precipitation in the forecast right now, just warmer temperatures and some more cloud cover moving in tonight. That's going to keep us a little bit warmer overnight. The low is going to be around 55 degrees. And then Thursday, mostly sunny, a high around 83. We've got more coming up in just a moment right here on WSJM. Right now, the latest world and national news.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Polish and NATO air defense is scrambling overnight as it appears Russia sent drones into Poland's airspace. They were shot down with the help of NATO forces. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio says many European leaders think it's Russia's attempt at escalating the war in Ukraine. At the foreign desk, here's ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge.
Top officials here in Europe calling this the biggest violation of NATO airspace by Russia since the war in Ukraine began. And for the first time, Poland, the key NATO ally of the US, shooting down Russian drones breaching its airspace, calling some of those drones a direct threat.
Israel is condemning the comments made by the president of the European Commission earlier today about suspending all payments to Israel over the country's conduct in Gaza, describing them as regrettable. Hamas says only low-level leaders were killed in Israel's targeted attack on Hamas headquarters in Doha. And a federal court ruling Fed Governor Lisa Cook can remain in her position while she fights President Trump's firings. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
740, WSJM Morning Show continues. Some of the news that we're covering just after 8 o'clock from our local newsroom. We're just 3 weeks away from a potential government shutdown in Michigan due to the ongoing budget standoff that's happening in Lansing. The governor is on an extended international travel trip. There are reports her administration is currently preparing for what happens if the sides, the House, the Senate, the governor's mansion can't reach a deal. So we'll have more detail on that and some response from our local area state senator, Eric Nesbitt. That's coming up just after 8 o'clock. Also, leaders in Buchanan are welcoming new plans for a former school building. It's now going to be a nursing school. If the plan goes through, we'll talk a little bit more about that after 8 o'clock. And then St. Joseph, City of St. Joseph, is replacing some signage at their 12 city parks. We'll tell you a little bit more about what's happening there. That's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show during our next local newscast at 8:05. It is 7:41. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got sports from Dave Wolf coming up after a look at state news.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Ryan Ranker. A Republican law.
Okay, back on the video live stream. Sorry, I was looking at our buttons here. Looks like everyone's back on the air. Let me make sure. Sorry, we had some. This is the behind the scenes content. They were having internet issues, as I suspected. But it's back up. It's been back up. Okay, we're good. Lori was listening to one of our sister stations. Which one do you listen to? The Lake?
The Lake, yeah.
Because you're a classic rock fan?
Yeah, it's from my era, my college days.
Pink Floyd? Are you a fan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it David Gilmour who's out there still doing I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I think it is because his daughter is out there. Sometimes you catch him on social media, them doing music together. Anyway, we go too far. So Curious Kids Museum, and we've been talking with Lori Marciniak, the executive director there. You've got a lot on your hands, and I was looking at some of the about statistics. It says here, the museum provides an environment that invites curiosity, allows exploration, celebrates childhood, and inspires learning. And you've served more than 1.4 million visitors since you opened your doors. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think it's closer to 1.8. We probably need to update that. But yeah. It's amazing. We get 80,000 per year at the Curious Kids Museum location, about 30,000 per year at the Curious Kids Discovery Zone. And really, when we have an opportunity to expand that number in the summer when there's a lot of tourists here, we hit capacity every day. We sell out almost every day. So
that's great.
We're really looking forward to the larger building and hopefully being able to serve more people.
How many square feet do you have in the new building?
Usable for exhibits will be 13,300.
Okay.
Right now we're at like 7,700. The building is 9,400 square feet that we're in right now.
Okay.
The new building is like 17,000.
Okay. So your background, electrical engineer?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so as an electrical engineer, how much fun are you having talking to the vendors who are coming in saying, we can do that?
It's amazing. Well, and it's funny because I do challenge people because I'm like, I think we can do that. But yeah, and it was really fun. We had a lot of structural engineers in, a lot of mechanical engineers looking at the structure of the building because it is 30 years old and we want to make sure, like I said, we have one shot at this. We want to do things. And there were so many Michigan Tech grads, and that's where I went, that were coming in to do the work. So it was kind of fun that we could talk about the UP and all the things. So
yeah, when you got into the building after you the sale was closed in April and you started looking around and seeing, did anything surprise you?
No, it's a beautiful building. It's an amazing design, but after 30 years, the heating and cooling is tough.
Yeah.
30 years ago, it wasn't wired for all the things that you want to wire it for.
Yeah.
Normal things, but we're in a 1905 started building 1915. I think it was completed.
Right.
So I'm thrilled with the age of the building, but we need to update some things.
So you've got the location down at the carousel, near the carousel.
Yes.
You've got so that's the Curious Kids Discovery Zone. You've got the main building at Memorial Hall, and now you're going to have the Main Street building. Can you support all those?
Yes, we may change some of the functions. So currently, we like to host field trips.
Yeah.
We have an outreach program where we go to schools and festivals and fairs, and we take mobile hands-on exhibits to support. The outreach program. We look at the state standards for fourth graders, second graders. In earth science and physical science, and we have modules that support that. So if new teachers or teachers that have been teaching for a long time need hands-on. They have so much on their plate to pull together hands-on learning that actually supports a state standard is tough sometimes, expensive. So we can come in and have some of that. Kids can come to the museum and classes can, and we can do those modules, and then they can play. Can be a field trip and a kind of outreach together. So we have those opportunities as well, but it's hard to bring in 30 kids from a classroom, 60 kids if you have 2 classrooms with 4 or 5 adults, and let them run when you're open.
Yeah.
They're so excited to be there, and it's so fun, but there's not a child to adult ratio that we prefer on those trips. So we would like to turn the Curious Kids Museum into a field trip location, into an outreach center, and also into after school programs. So, kids age out of the museum about 10 years old, but that doesn't mean they want to not have hands-on learning. There's a lot of pressure from society for them to grow up very fast, the museums for babies, those kind of things. But there's a lot of hands-on STEM activities that we could do after school with 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds that they could be really enriching and really fun, and really an opportunity for them to fiddle again with stuff. I became an engineer because my dad used to take me to Goodwill's and buy VCRs and just bring them home and say VCRs. There's a term, huh? But he would just say take them apart because they didn't have to work again, but that's a hard thing we don't do much anymore, to just let a kid explore with no consequence of we can't put this back together. And so having kits that they could actually, have something they could accomplish or just fiddle and learn is pretty exciting thought for myself anyway. How kids learn.
The deconstruction of electric devices, fascinating. I love doing that. And I think the biggest hurdle between that and what kids are doing now, number one, your smartphone can do everything. Number two, the screws. They changed the proprietary screws, so you have to buy a different screwdriver if you can even get it. Apple, bane of my I love Apple, but their screws, they make them so. Well, you have to get back on the air. We'll be right back. WSJM.
Top out right around 80 again inland, but near the lakeshore will be in the upper 70s. 55 for the overnight low tonight with partly cloudy skies. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. We're aiming for high temperatures in the low to mid 80s through the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
748 WSJM Morning Show continues. Thanks for joining us on your Wednesday, September 10th. I'm Ken Lundberg. My guest this hour is the executive director of the Curious Kids Museum in St. Joseph. And let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. Our Moody on the Market update this hour is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And we thank you for being part of Southwest Michigan and why we love it here. Lori Marciniak.
Yes, nonprofits are a very important part of any city and area.
Very much.
And so we are very blessed. We're starting our 36th year.
36.
We're in our 36th year.
Yeah.
Next year will be 37. And so we're educating the next generation. We have people come in, oh, my favorite exhibit when I came here. And now they're bringing their children. It's so fun to hear those stories. This was so fun. We always say experiences are so great for kids. If I ask somebody, what did you get for your 5th birthday? most people, unless it was a pony. I can't remember, right?
Right.
But when I say, what was the first time you went to the zoo or a children's museum, or, people light up and they want to tell you about that. And so, that's what we're about, making memories as families. Families are so busy right now. A lot of families have 2 income earners, and kids have all kinds of activities. And we hear over and over when they come to the museum, they can truly be a family because they need to play together. They need to watch. They need to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it fills your bucket. It's honestly the best job I've ever had.
Absolutely. And we were talking on the video live stream a moment ago that the museum has created, Curious Kids Museum, since it was conceived and put forward and the doors opened, 1.8 million different experiences.
Yes.
1.8 million times people have walked through the doors of your establishments in St. Joseph, and many more to come.
We hope.
That's
yes.
exciting. And so looking at the future of Curious Kids Museum, let's talk again about the future Curious Kids Museum on Main Street location and the gala that's coming up on Friday, September 19th. If people are interested in learning what the next step is for Curious Kids Museum and to get a look inside the new building, when is it, where is it, and what can people expect from that gala?
So September 19th, 5:30 to 10:30, we are going to have heavy hors d'oeuvres and a bar, and we broke it up into 3 parts for the evening. Our tagline is explore, play, and learn. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to give time to explore. Every area will have the architectural vision and the exhibit vision on poster boards or up on the wall. And so they'll be able to see what we're going to do with each area. And then they can learn. They can come into the ballroom, and I'm going to do a short presentation to kind of talk about everything. If they missed something or, didn't get to a certain area, I'll tell them all about what's happening, the timeline, why we're going to have 3 museums, all of those things. And then after that, they play. So we're going to explore, learn, and play. And playing will be dancing to a DJ. So
very nice. What kind of music? Classic rock?
Well, I mean, if I give them the playlist, but they probably want to be
danceable music.
Yes,
okay. Tickets are available right now for the Curious Kids Museum on Main Street sneak peek. It's their gala coming up on Friday, September 19th, as Lori mentioned, and it'll be at 601 Main Street, which is the new location, the future Curious Kids Museum on Main Street location. And you can get tickets online by going through either the Curious Kids Museum website or by going to your Facebook page.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What else is happening at the museum? What are you doing right now?
I mean, so much fun.
Yeah.
We had a great summer. It's just, it's so gratifying. We're a smallish town and a smallish museum, very blessed to have 2 locations already. And to hear people coming from Indianapolis, that has the largest children's museum in the country, to say, we really just love your museum.
Yeah.
It's quaint. There's more, we've heard a couple times, there's more hands-on per square foot in your museum than in some of the bigger ones. And that is something we strive to have a lot. Everything is touchable. We want the kids to child-directed play.
Yeah.
They can kind of direct their day or their hour or their 2 hours in the museum. And we've just had some really good people come through with some really good feedback. So.
Yeah. And it's exciting to understand kind of the future vision of what you're going to be doing on Main Street there. So again, if you want to see more of that, if you want to hear firsthand, if you want to look at the walls that will soon be the future of that Curious Kids Museum, check it out. The gala is coming up September 19th, Friday, 5:30 to 10:30 p.m. Curious Kids Museum on Main Street sneak peek. More information, go to their website, Curious Kids Museum, or go to their Facebook page, and you can see it there. That's our Moody on the Market update for this hour. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And we'll be back to conclude this interview with Lori Marciniak in just a moment, right here on WSJM.
Rich Brand and Tara Halsey from Insurance Management Service, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles, know it means something to have peace of mind knowing your insurance is taken care of.
We have staff that the majority of their career has been in insurance, and the majority of their career has been at IMS. They're born and raised in our community, most of our staff, or lived here a long, long time. We have clients who've been been with us for 20 years, and they've been calling and talking to the same customer service agent for their home and auto for those 20 years.
I think the longevity of IMS and what Rich was just speaking to is that comfort level that business owner gets of thinking, boy, they've been in business a long, long time. So it's that trust and that sense of security that we can give to these new business owners or existing business owners.
IMS, an auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles.
We're watching over you. IMS Insurance Management Service.
IMS is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and...
Okay, sorry about that. We got sidetracked. It's just fun to talk about all the things that you have planned for the museum. And it's fun to explore the kind of the thought process and what has to go into that kind of thing. Money, capital campaign. What's the status of that? You're going to need one, right?
Yes. So we will be kind of launching that and talking about that at the gala.
Okay.
It looks like we're going to need $4.5 million or so to renovate the building.
That's a deal.
And $3 million to put new exhibits in.
Oh, and $3 million. Okay.
Yes. The purchase of the building was $1.1 million.
Okay.
So we're at, $8 or $9 million of need. I believe we're north of $3 million already, and waiting on a couple other donors to see what they might pledge. So,
what's the primary source of your funding?
Right now, well, we have submitted probably 20 grants already. So it's fundraising, grants, donors, major donors.
Okay. As far as like admission to the museum, does that play like a significant part of it?
So, best practices for a museum would say that you would make 50% of your needed income through admissions. And then the other 50% is a split between grants, donations, fundraising.
Okay.
And some years, grants are 30% and the rest is 20%. And some years it's the other way around.
Yeah.
But we're pretty blessed. We make more like 62% of our needed income through admissions. But that doesn't make up $9 million. This is of your needed revenue to operate.
Yeah.
And so, we it's going to be a big fundraising campaign. Hopefully, people understand the importance of having this in St. Joseph.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
For 36 years, we've been very successful in maintaining, but we are a nonprofit, so nobody's getting rich off anything.
Yeah.
And we want to fully fund this so that right now, admission is $8 per person at the museum and $6 per person at the Discovery Zone. We want to keep those rates. We don't want to have to charge like going to Shed Aquarium. Not that Shed isn't worth it. I'm just saying, $40, $45 a person.
It becomes cost prohibitive, especially the larger the family.
So if we can fully fund this campaign, we can keep admission low.
All right, let's get back on the radio here. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. If you're missing the video live stream, you're missing a lot. Lori Marciniak and I were just talking about kind of next steps, and one of those is a capital campaign, because you've got a lot of big plans, a lot of investments, and you're making a lot of great progress, but you're still going to need some more as the vision is realized.
Yes.
And so go ahead.
We will be looking to, we're going to need between $8 and $9 million.
Yeah.
We're just over $3 million so far. And we're going to need, donors. We're writing grants just as quickly as I can ship them out.
Yeah.
And trying to find funding for this. If we can get this fully funded, we can keep admission rates low. It can be accessible to everybody. That was a big feedback when we were trying to buy our current building, and then we ended up buying the 601 Main Street building. Lots of feedback was, keep the rates accessible. Keep it so people can come and visit. And, you can buy a membership for $150 a year, and your whole family can come plus 2 extra adults as many times as you want. It does become very affordable with an upfront cost of a membership. So
we're going to have to wrap it there.
Sorry.
No, you're good. We have been talking with Lori Marciniak with the Curious Kids Museum. They've got the gala coming up on September 19th. We have more information on that. They do as well on their website, Curious Kids Museum here in St. Joseph. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. Thanks, Lori.
Thank you. From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Russia sending drones across Poland.